children, today we will start a revision of lesson 2, that is latitudes and longitudes for class 5 SST. Okay, subject SST, lesson 2 latitudes and longitudes. So first we will discuss some points and some topics, and then we will just learn about it. We will just practice the question answers exercise, and whatever the exercise part is there, we will practice. Okay. So first, latitudes and longitude. This is a chapter name. No, but here you know the globe. Globe is a small model of the Earth, isn't it? No, it is also the spherical like Earth, spherical shape like Earth, isn't it? No, and it's a three-dimensional model of the Earth, isn't it? Globe is a three-dimensional model of the Earth. Okay. So here you see the rod on which the globe rotates represent the Earth axis, and you know the rod is there in which the globe rotates. That is known as what? Axis, Earth axis. Okay, and the axis is an imaginary line passing through the center of the Earth on which it rotates from west to east. So the direction how it rotates? It rotates from west to east, and the axis is an imaginary line. Okay, axis is an imaginary line passing through the center of the Earth. Okay, on which it rotates from west to east. On which it rotates from west to east. That is known as what? Axis. Okay, it is an imaginary line which passing through the center of the Earth, and it rotates from west to east. That is called what? Axis. Okay. So there are two ends on which the globe rotates. You know, there are two ends. One at the top and the other at the bottom. Definitely you have seen the, I think all of you have seen the globe, isn't it? No. One top is there and bottom. Okay. On which the globe rotates, and it is in a spherical shape, isn't it? No. So now the, you know, the grid lines are there. Grid is the word G-R-I-D, grid. Grid means what? Grid means it is a pattern of regularly spaced horizontally and vertically lines. Means it is pattern of a line which is regularly made. Okay? Pattern of a line which is vertical and horizontal. Okay? It is a pattern of the line which is vertical and horizontal. You have seen the very thin line, okay, and you have seen the globe, no? So that lines is known as what? Grid. That lines are known as what? Grid. Okay. Now, you know the equator is there in the middle of the Earth. Okay, in the middle of the Earth, isn't it? No. So, what is the equator? And what is equator? An imaginary line which goes round the Earth, and its equidistance from pole is called equator. It is an imaginary line, and it is equidistance from the pole. It is an imaginary line which rounds the Earth, goes round the Earth, and it is equidistance. It is equidistance from the pole, isn't it? No. From both the sides, it is equidistance from the pole from both the sides of the. Okay, that is known as what? Equator. It is an imaginary line. Okay, it is an imaginary line which moves around the Earth, isn't it? No, and its equidistance from the pole is called what? Pole means what? North pole also or south pole also. So equal distance is there. It is in the center of the Earth. It is in the middle of the Earth. So that is known as what? Equator. And how much degree it carries? 0 degree. It carries 0 degree. And direct sun rays falls on the equator, isn't it? No. And the area which is near to the equator, that comes under torrid zone, isn't it? No. And it's very hot, as I have explained in my videos. It is very hot region, and with the diagrams I have explained you, isn't it? No. So you know that is the part from the equator up the north pole, northern hemisphere. When you see the two halves, the equator is divided, isn't it? Two halves. What are they? North pole and the south pole. and North Pole comes under the northern hemisphere and the South Pole comes under the southern hemisphere. North Pole, northern hemisphere, and South Pole comes under southern hemisphere. Isn't it now? So, now you know latitude. Latitude, what is latitude? Latitude means it is an imaginary circular line parallel to the equator running east-west around the globe are called latitudes. Okay, it is a line, it is a circular line, it's an imaginary line which is parallel to the equator. It is parallel to the equator. Okay, not vertical lines, it is a horizontal lines, isn't it now? It is a horizontal lines. So, and which running east-west around the globe. It runs from east-west around the globe. Okay, are called what? Latitudes. And we can say that are parallels of latitude. Means it follows the equator. Equator is also a latitude, isn't it now? The equator is assumed to be a 0 degree latitude. As I have told you, just equator is assumed. What is the degree of the equator? 0 degree latitude. It is also a latitudinal line, isn't it now? Equator. Now, beside the equator, 4 other important latitudes are there. 4 important latitudes are there beside equator. What are they? The Tropic of Cancer, Tropic of Capricorn, Arctic Circle and Antarctic Circle. So, these 4 latitudinal lines are there. Important latitudinal lines are there. And when we see the degree, what is the degree of this? The Tropic of Cancer is 23.5 degree north, isn't it? And the Tropic of Capricorn 23.5 degree south. Okay, and the Arctic Circle 66.5 degree north. And the Antarctic Circle, it is 66.5 degree south. Okay, so the equator is the largest latitude. We consider all this that equator is the largest latitude. Okay. Now, what are longitudes? Now we see the longitude. What is longitude? Okay. Now this is also the imaginary semicircular line joining the North Pole and South Pole are lines. South Pole are called lines of the longitude. Means it is a vertical lines. Longitude means it is a vertical line, and latitude means it is a horizontal line. Which is latitude means it is parallel to the equator, but this longitude is a vertical line. Okay, and this line passes to the Greenwich near London. This line passes through a Greenwich, which is situated there in London. Okay, it's called prime meridian. Prime meridian is also a middle line, just like a horizontal line. Horizontal line is what is a horizontal line here? Which is the largest latitude? Equator. So here we can say the vertical line is what? Prime meridian. Okay, prime meridian, and it passes through the Greenwich, which is near to the London. Okay, and it is a line of 0 degree longitude from which the east-west distance is measured. Just like we are measuring the equator as a 0, so this prime meridian is also an imaginary line which passes through the Greenwich, which is situated near to the London, and it is also a 0 degree longitude. 0 degree we can say. It is also measured as a 0 degree. Okay, which from east west is measured 0 degree. Okay, so I think it is clear to you, now the part of east of the prime meridian is called eastern hemisphere. Now, as equator divides north and the south pole, northern hemisphere, southern hemisphere, that latitudinal line divides northern hemisphere and southern hemisphere. But here, this is prime meridian. It is a longitude and is considered as 0 degree, and it divides into 2 halves. That is 2 halves of the earth. That is what? Eastern and the western hemisphere. What is that? Eastern and the western hemisphere. Okay. So the that is west part, it comes under the western hemisphere. Eastern part, it comes under the eastern hemisphere. Okay. Now locating a place. To locate a particular place, we have to specifically specify whether we are talking of the latitude north or south, or also whether we means the longitude east or west. Means when we locate something, particular place, what we have to think first, we have to see that it is in the in which position, in which part it is. It is a latitudinal line or longitudinal line. Latitudinal line means it is north and northern hemisphere and the southern hemisphere, and the longitudinal line means it is east or west. East and west means eastern hemisphere or the western hemisphere, isn't it now? So for the latitudinal line, we consider as in middle, the middle of the imaginary line is what? Latitudinal hemisphere. For the latitude, what is the middle center of the line? What is the center of the line for the latitude? Means largest latitude is what? We can say that it is the equator. Okay. And but longitude is this is also the imaginary line, but it moves from east. It divides the east and western hemisphere. Eastern and the western hemisphere. Understood? So now we will discuss about the exercise part. Okay, we will discuss about the exercise part. So here, fill in the blanks. Okay. So first is what? Fill the blanks. First question is what? Fill in the blanks. Okay. So the first one. What is the first question here? The dash divides the earth. The dash divides the earth into the northern hemisphere and the southern hemisphere. So what is the answer for this? The equator. Northern and the southern hemisphere. No, because the equator is a latitudinal line. So what is the first answer? Equator. Okay. Now second, the imaginary circular line running parallel to the equator are called parallels of dash. Parallel to the equator. So parallels of latitude we say, no? Parallels of latitudes. What it will be? Parallels of latitudes. Okay. Now third one. The dash is the largest latitude. So what is the largest latitude? Just now we have read. It is the equator. What is the largest latitude? It is equator. Okay, and it is measured as 0 degree. The imaginary line joining the North Pole and the South Pole are the lines of North Pole and joining the North Pole and the South Pole. The line which joins the North Pole and the South Pole. So it is a vertical line, isn't it? No, not a horizontal line. It's a vertical line. So what it will be? Longitudes. What it will be? Longitudes. Okay, longitudes. Now fifth one. What is the fifth question? The part to the east of the prime meridian is called the eastern dash. So what it will be? Eastern hemisphere. Means if it is in the east of the prime meridian, it is known as what? Definitely it is eastern hemisphere. If it is west of the prime meridian, it is known as the western hemisphere. Isn't it? And that is known as what? Already eastern is given now in the book. Eastern hemisphere. Eastern hemisphere. Now, fill the blanks over. Now, next question. What is the next question here? Take the right answers. Okay, take the right answers. the right answer. Question number B. Pick the right answer. No? You have to tick mark. Right answer. Okay. Now, first question. What is the first question? Options are given. The equator is assumed to be at dash. So options are here: 0 degree latitudes, 90 degree latitudes, 180 degree latitudes. So what it will be? It will be 0 degree latitude. So 0 degree latitude. And like this box is given in front of that, no? So you have to take mark in that box. Now second one. The value of prime meridian is what? Value is 0 degree only, no? Just equator is also the 0 degree. So here the prime meridian is also 0 degree. So like this box is given. So you put this tick mark and you will write here 0 degree. Okay, so this is the value. Now third one. Third question. The total number of the lines of longitudes are. So how many lines, total number of lines are there for the longitudes? For the longitude, how many numbers of lines are there? So that is what? 360. How much it is? 360. Now next, fourth question. What is the fourth question? The Tropic of Cancer is located at latitude. This is the question. So how much it is? 23.5 degree north. So 23.5 degree north. And like this box is given, you have to take marking 23.5 degree north. Now fifth. The Tropic of Capricorn is located at latitude. Now what is the latitude? That is 23.5 degrees south. How much it is? 23.5 degree south. Okay. So this is a tick the right answer. Question number B. Okay. Now next question will do. So what is the next question here? Answer the following. No, answer the following. First question. Answer the following. Okay. And here is the first question is what? What is the first question? Name the important latitudes. Name the important latitudes. With that, you have to write the degree also. You have to mention the degree. You know the largest latitude is the equator, isn't it now? So you have to include that also. So the first question, name the important latitudes. Answer this question number C. Answer the following. Okay, answer the following. So answer, first answer. What is the first answer? First question is what? Name the important latitude. So the answer you write. First one. Besides the equator. Besides the equator. There are, you have to repeat, no? There are 4 important latitudes. Okay, latitudes. Now you have to write first. What is first one? The Tropic of Cancer. The Tropic of Cancer. So what is the degree for this? So you have to write a degree also, 23.5 3.5 degree, that is north, isn't it? Now the second one. 4 are there, no? Now the Tropic of Capricorn. Second is the Tropic of Capricorn. The Tropic of Capricorn. Okay, Capricorn. Now what is the degree for this? 23.5 degree south. Okay. Now the third one is what? The Arctic Circle. The Arctic Circle. The Arctic Circle. Okay. And what is the degree for this? 66.5 degree. What? North. How much it is? 66.5 degree north. Okay. Now fourth one. What is the last? The Antarctic Circle. The Antarctic Circle. The Antarctic Circle. Okay, the Antarctic Circle. And that is also what? How much? 66.5 degree. This is north, south. Okay, this is south because here the Arctic Circle is in the north. Arctic Circle is in the northern hemisphere and the Antarctic Circle is in the southern hemisphere, isn't it? So that's why this is how much it is? 66.5 degree south. When you see the heat zone map, heat zone of the earth, isn't it? Heat zone of the earth. Now, or when you see the earth, okay, so it is the Tropic of Cancer, latitudinal lines, longitudinal lines, all are there with the degrees, isn't it? And it's divided in the northern hemisphere, southern hemisphere, eastern hemisphere, western hemisphere. So it depends. So this you see. So this is the first answer. Again you repeat. Beside the equator there are 4 important latitudes, isn't it? The Tropic of Cancer, that is how much? 23.5 degree north. Now second, the Tropic of Capricorn, that is also 23.5 degree south. Now the Arctic Circle, 66.5 degree north, and the Antarctic Circle, that is 66.5 degree south. Okay. Now these are the latitudinal lines, isn't it? No, these are the latitudinal lines, important latitudes we can say. Now next question. What is the next question here? What is the other name for the latitude lines at 0 degree? Okay. So we will revise this second question, isn't it? No, second question. So the second question is, what is the other name for the latitude line at 0 degree? So definitely 0 degree, you know, latitude line is what? Equator, no? So answer 2. Second answer, no? Second answer. So you will write the equator. Okay, the equator. The equator is assumed. Okay, the equator is assumed to be at 0. To be at 0 degree. Isn't it? 0 degree like this you write, no? 0 degree latitudes. Okay, latitude. So, what is the latitudinal line? What is the name of the latitudinal line? Okay. So, the other name for the latitude line at 0 degree. What is the other name? Latitude line we say at 0 degree. But one word what we will say, that is the equator. The equator is assumed to be. The equator is assumed to be at 0 degree. is near to the, it is an imaginary line which passes to the Greenwich, which is near to the London, isn't it? No. And is called what? Prime meridian. And it prime meridian divides into two equal halves, isn't it? No. And it is, prime meridian is longitudinal line, no? It is a longitudinal line which is from the center of the earth, and it also, its value is also 0 degree, and it divides into two equal halves, that is eastern hemisphere and western hemisphere. Isn't it? No? That is eastern hemisphere and western hemisphere. So very clear, no? Now the third answer. So that what is the definition? What is the definition of prime meridian? Means what is prime meridian is asked, isn't it? No. So the line which, repeat, okay? You have to practice by writing in your copy. The line which passes. The line which passes through. The line which passes through Greenwich. Okay. Greenwich near London. Near London, no? Is called what? Is called the prime meridian. The prime meridian. Okay, the prime meridian. So the answer is over, no? Is called what? The prime meridian. Next, so this is the answer, no? Again, we will repeat this answer. So, the line which passes through Greenwich near London. Near London is called what? The prime meridian. This is the definition of what? Prime meridian. Now, the next question. What is the next question here? Question number 4. Up to 3 questions we have completed. Okay. Yes. So the next question is, what are the latitudes and longitudes? How are they different? So I have explained you know what are the latitudes and longitudes, isn't it? And how are they different from each other? So the answer number, this is 4, fourth answer, no? So the imaginary circular lines. It is circular lines, no? Circular lines parallel to the equator running east west. Okay, running east west around the globe, or earth, around the globe, are called what? Latitudes. Okay. So the imaginary circular line parallel to the equator running east west. longitude. Now the imaginary, this is also the imaginary line. The imaginary semi-circular lines joining the, now it joins the north pole, joining the north pole and the south pole, isn't it? And the south pole are called lines of longitude. Okay. Now this is also imaginary line. The imaginary semicircular line joining the north pole and the south pole are called lines of longitude. From north to south pole when it join are called lines of longitude. It is a vertical line, no? And from north to south when it joins, it is called what? Lines of longitude. And is also measured as 0 degree. And that meridian is what? That meridian is known as a prime meridian, isn't it? No? That longitude is known as a prime meridian, which joins from north to south pole, isn't it? No. Now this is clear. Now it is asked that how are they different? How are they different? Now you have to tell this also. How are they different? Both the lines, latitudinal lines and the longitudinal lines. So latitudes are parallel to each other. Latitudes are parallel to each other. Okay, latitudes are parallel to each other, isn't it? No? Now, longitudes are of unequal length and the longitudes are of unequal length. Longitudes are of unequal length. Over. So, the answer what? The imaginary, this is two-part question, no? Two parts are given in this question. Then question number 4. The imaginary circular line parallel to the equator running east-west around the globe or around the earth, which is a spherical shape, we can say, are called latitudes. And here, what about longitude? The imaginary semicircular line joining the north pole and the south pole are called lines of longitude. Now how they are different to each other? So the latitudes are the parallel lines. Okay, latitudes are the parallel lines parallel to each other, and the longitudes are of unequal length. Longitudes are of unequal length. So you understood this? Clear? You have to learn the answer like this. Okay. Okay. Now answer 4 is over. Now the next question. What is the next question here? How do the latitude and longitude divide the globe? Name the part. Question number 5. No? Now question 5. So we do the last question, no? Question number 5. So how do the latitude longitude divide the globe? Name the parts. How it divides? Now answer number 5. So the prime meridian. The prime meridian divides. The prime meridian divides the globe. It's an imaginary line, no? The prime meridian divides the globe into 2 equal halves. Isn't it? No, 2 equal halves. Okay. What are they? The northern hemisphere. That is the eastern hemisphere and the northern. Okay. That is the eastern and the northern. Okay. The northern hemisphere and the eastern hemisphere. Okay. Now the longitude. What about longitude? Now the longitude. The longitudes of a place. The longitude of a place is followed by east for E for east and W for west. Okay, that is 180 degree east and 180 degree west, isn't it? No? Are on same line. Are on the same line. Are on the same line. Now the vertical lines on a globe represent the line of latitude. The vertical line. No, this much is sufficient. No? So here you see the answer is over. No, the prime meridian divides the globe into 2 equal halves. That is northern hemisphere and east hemisphere. Okay, that is the prime meridian. It's divides prime meridian. Okay. And the longitude of the place is followed by the east for the east, E for east and the west for the W for the west, isn't it? No. Now, I think you have understood this and you should revise all the answers properly which is given to you. Okay? Thank you.